Hey, what's going on, PKs Talk Back family? It's your girl, Siobhan Shipman Cook. Come on to YouTube, and we are streaming to Facebook as well. So you can hop on to either one of those platforms and share, share, share. We're going to have a really good conversation with my sister friend. I am so excited to have her with us once again. So please make sure you jump on and share this information with your friends, your family, whoever is in your circle of influence. If you have PKs who would like to jump on in this conversation, please share with them as well. We are so looking forward to this particular conversation. We are doing a YouTube series monthly called PK Life, hashtag PK Life. And that's what we are doing this evening with my friend, my sister, Jerry Wright. I am going to go ahead and bring her on the screen. Hey, how are you
Hey,
today?
good. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. We
Good.
encourage you, if you are on with us, to tell us where you are listening in from. And I am actually going to go on Facebook myself. Actually, I'm going to hop onto YouTube and share the link to my Facebook page. And I encourage you to do the same thing. Here we go. Let me turn myself down. Turn myself down and share this. Make sure you are out there. We want to hear from you. We want to have a good old conversation with you. Um, so there's been a lot that's happened since the last time we were on. Our first experience, I had Daryl Cook on, who is my husband. We talked about help. I'm married to PK, and he shared some really interesting things with us. Following that, I had a birthday, and then Saturday I got the COVID vaccine. I got the J&J vaccine, and let me tell you how this girl went down. It was weird. It was like Saturday, I was still out. I got the vaccine. I felt pretty good. I headed over to the church to prepare for Sunday. And the longer I was out, the more exhausted I felt. So I text Daryl and I was like, you know what? I think I'm just going to go home and forget all this. And I went home, got in the bed, and I was there until Tuesday morning when I went back to work. It was crazy. I had the chills, I had the headaches, I had the fevers, and all of that. But thank God I am on the other side. I'm starting to get my energy restored, and I'm eating again. I'm actually eating meals again. And hopefully, everything else will work out from there. I'm feeling pretty good. Jerry, have you had it yet? Have you gotten the vaccine?
I got my first, let's see, about 3 weeks ago, almost a month ago, and I get my second Moderna Sunday.
Oh, on Sunday. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
And
On,
did you kind of schedule some time for yourself on Monday just to chill?
I don't have any meetings other than the early morning Samuel DeWitt Proctor prayer call. After that, I don't have any meetings or anything scheduled.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. I actually didn't think I would need time. Like when I got done, I was like, yeah, I could just go on with life. And then the body was like, no, no, you cannot.
That's right. That's right. After seeing my dad's reaction, my mother didn't have, she was just tired, and it only took her a day to just rest after her second. But my dad, it took him down for maybe half a week, maybe 4 days even. He only had fever 24 hours by the time he woke up, I think on day 2. Um, he was much better, just, well, no fever, I should say, but extremely lethargic. And so even though he got on that prayer call with us every morning,
Wow.
he had the help of mop the first day, but then, and that was the morning he woke up after the horrible fever and the horrible night he had. She just assisted him. But he went on, and the next day and several days, even though he was extremely lethargic, he was able to be with us. And he made it through. Thank God. He didn't think he was going to that first night, but we thank God that he made it through.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. I'm glad he's doing better on the other side
yeah,
of it.
yeah. Thank
Um,
you.
yes, absolutely. So we are just encouraging you to do whatever you feel is best for you. Make sure you consult your doctor and all of that good stuff. Stay in touch with your healthcare professional, because we want to get back. I don't want to say get back to normal. I don't think we'll ever be where we were pre-COVID. But we want everybody to be healthy and to be safe. So do what you have to do to make that happen. So that has been my life since we last met. I actually had a couple other things happen, but to God be the glory. He works everything out for our good. So let me toss it to Jerry, because I did not do a whole extensive introduction on purpose, because I believe this iconic young lady can speak for herself. So, for those of the people who may be listening now or watching the replay, tell them a little bit about yourself.
First thing you need to know is I am great off camera. I love behind the scenes. I have been in media, oh my goodness, for double digit years. And I prefer to do the production and the post production. And um, yeah, so I was the media director of the church my father pastored for 36 years. And so I'm most comfortable off camera because I don't know how not to smile in front of the camera. Even when I'm supposed to be serious, I am always smiling. I always smile anyway, but particularly in front of the camera, there's just this thing I have. And so that's a little known fact about me. But I am a PK, and I have survived a 36-year pastorate. I have survived, whew, now over 10 years, almost 13 years of struggle on the other side of my dad's retirement, as our family was bombarded with death threats and, ooh, what could have taken my father's life away, when they couldn't take him down with what they attempted via the media. They came after me. And so I am a survivor. And I have come through loving the Lord, loving God, not really too particular about the church folk, but loving to worship in the space with the saints. And God has been faithful. I am also now an author, and I am the executive producer director of the Samuel DeWitt Proctor Conference. It's now called the Proctor Prayerdemic, and we are on every Monday through Friday at Samuel DeWitt Proctor Conference on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at 7:10 a.m. Eastern. No, that's Central, 8:10 a.m. Eastern, 7:10 a.m. Central, and 5:10 a.m. where I am on the West Coast. And so I'm just grateful to be here and to be in partnership with you. And I absolutely love our sister Miss PKs Talk Back, Siobhan Shipman Cook. And yes, and I have my book, Preacher's Daughter. That's who both of us are. Mine is A Journey Through the Pit in the Presence of God. And so I give God praise for that first book in this series. I should have the second completed by the end of next month. Please keep me in
Yay.
your prayers.
Yes, absolutely. Where can they find your book?
At jerrywright.com, JERIWRIGHT.com. And my sister, the first PK in my family, is on the line. I don't know why she's calling. Actually, I think I do. My goddaughter is right now in competition on what is it? Midwest College Project. She is in competition to be Miss Bold, Miss Bronze and Bold. And I think everybody's trying to figure out how to vote. And so I think that's why she's calling me.
Got you. Um, Thank you for that overview. So we've had a lot of things happening, and tell us about the prayer-demic, because I think that will flow into, some of the current events that we have going on today.
So the prayer demic for now 53 weeks, but over a year, today is the last day of celebration. Actually, the final Sankofa moment is airing now, but you all can go after we finish to the at Proctor Conference on Facebook. The prayer demic began as a result of one of our hosts reaching out to Mama Dr. Iva Carruthers, asking for prayer, standing in need of prayer. He had just witnessed the processional of refrigerated trucks, and he was literally shaken and called her to say, we need prayer, and we need prayer worldwide. What can we do? And as I was completing my senior thesis at Payne Theological Seminary, I wasn't taking any phone calls from anyone except family. And Mama Iva, who is family, called, but she hadn't been calling on a regular basis. And so when I saw her call, immediately I answered because I wasn't sure exactly what was going on. And I was praying that all was well. And she actually asked me if I would write a protocol for a daily live international prayer call, as well as a 24-hour prayer hotline. And I did. And as a result, we launched the international prayer call on Monday. It was Easter Monday, April 13th of last year. And every single morning, we meet in Zoom 20 minutes before we go live. And God has blessed us with well over 250 different prayer warriors who have prayed fervently for us, who have prepared early in the morning to be presentable, to come in front in the virtual space. And as well as several ministers of music, psalmists, musicians, who have thought it not robbery to do the very same, to prepare themselves to come before us early in the morning as we sheltered in place and dealt with the multiple pandemics. And the prayer time is really a worship time. We are ushered into the presence of God by the psalmist, musician, minister of music, and then we go before the throne of grace. And I am so grateful to God, to each and every one who has given of their time, you included, Daryl, your dad. I am so grateful for all of the prayer warriors and those who get up every morning to pray with us across social media including YouTube, and comment and talk back. And they have, everyone has made this time of isolation during these multiple pandemics so much lighter to bear and easier to deal with, starting in the morning as they are talking back to those who are ministering to us. And it has just become a part of many thousands of people's daily routines. And I'm just so grateful to God for that. I have been actually here in on the West Coast in California for several months, which means I wake up at 3 a.m.
Wow.
and produce the PSAs and any commercials and announcements even before we go live. And it has just, although it's been a lot of work because I'm texting, I'm emailing, I'm calling to ensure that we have a different prayer warrior every day and to ensure that there is nothing they need or may need from us before we go live. And of course, to thank them for their time. Not one person has expected one dime from us. They have done this out of the kindness of their hearts, including the musicians. And as you know, many musicians have lost a significant amount of income due to COVID-19. And I just thank and praise God for each and every one. So every opportunity we get, we attempt to encourage people to support them. And God has really, really blessed. It's just been a tremendous blessing this week of Sankofa moment. However, I have finally caught up on my rest. And since the Proctor conference, even the day after February 28th, I had not gotten one day break until that following Saturday, the first Saturday in March. And with this one week, as we have taken a look back at some of our services, Lord have mercy, I have been able to catch up on my rest and I'm finally beginning to feel like myself again. So I'm ready for Monday, 3 a.m. Here I come.
Yeah,
But
I
I am
remember
so
texting
into
you a couple of times, like, have you gotten any rest? And you're like, no, like the one word answer, no.
but I'm really, really grateful for this work because I believe in the mission and vision of the Samuel DeWitt Proctor Conference. I was birthed into activism and having lived a life of Black liberation theology, I am just all in when it comes to some nights, no sleep, but doing what God has called me to do. This is really the work my soul must have. The advocacy, just we are really being intentional about ensuring that this conference sustains itself, in that as we are building legacy, we do not leave out our generations to come. And so we are now truly an intergenerational space. And I am also being very intentional about us holding firm to who we are as an inclusive organization. And so many new things are happening with the Proctor Conference. And I am really looking forward to all that God has in store as we continue to fight against an unjust government and unjust system, and the many years that we have been held captive
Mm.
to what is supposed to be these United States of America.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to run back before I ask you my next question. My sister is on and she said, I need that book.
Ah, hey, you
Yes.
know you have
Sure.
one coming, Pam.
Make sure you hit up jerrywright.com to get that book.
One R,
Yes.
JERIWRIGHT.com.
Yes. So speaking about activism, um, probably one of my favorite voices right now is Bernice King. because she is so straightforward, direct, but you can feel her heart for love and wanting justice and peace, and for people to just live in the promise that um, was given, right, as a
Mhm.
country. Um, so she is my all-time favorite. I follow her on Twitter, and she always has something to say, like, "Oh, I need to take that quote right there." But I just love her heart and her passion to keep her parents' legacy. And even beyond that, it's a work that
Yes.
we need.
Mhm.
So who would be your favorite person as an activist? Like, who inspires you?
Ah, there. Well, Angela Davis.
Ooh,
I have to tell you.
why should I have guessed?
Yep, Angela Davis. All my life has been it for me. She has been motivation for me to do and to do the work for our people, whether I see the results in this time of life or I am an ancestor when it comes, the work comes to fruition. But she is definitely one. It's funny that you mentioned Bernice because I just sent her a message on Twitter yesterday. My sister Janet and I have begun to do the work that she definitely, and she had told me that when we were ready to make sure that I connected with her, that she would offer any assistance. But this is a work that it seems as if most PKs will need to prepare themselves to take on. And if not, even those who are not used to being in the realm of activism, but preserving our parents' legacies as well as our own, but preserving their works and so forth. And so I did. It's just amazing because when we talked earlier, I didn't even share that with you. So I didn't know she was your favorite. She is
Oh
definitely
my gosh,
very inspirational.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I
So
am
it
a
yeah.
fangirl for sure.
Yes. So I think she would really be one for us to be able to talk with on in the PKs Talk Back, and prayerfully we can connect her to the organization as well because she is the epitome of a PK. Yeah,
Yes, absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely. Well, let me take
yes.
it back just a little bit. I'm sorry. Were you going to say
No,
something?
I was just going to say also, Mama Iva has I have told her for years, all I want to do is shadow you. Just let me shadow you because she is larger than life with her petite frame and her petite self, larger than life. And I am just so grateful to God that for years and years, actually, the Proctor Conference has been in existence now for 18 years,
Mhm.
19 years, and we've had 18 conferences. And to know even a portion of her story has always motivated me. I have always looked to her for one who I would like to emulate. I could never fill her shoes, but definitely she has been extremely instrumental in my moving towards this work and doing the work my soul must have. She is really as close as blood, and I am just always amazed by her strength, her voice, her power, her boldness, her the way in which she moves, the way in which she has fought and continues to fight for right at all times, for justice, not just WRIGHT, but everything that is right for us as humans, for us as African descendants. And so she is definitely instrumental in who I am yet becoming.
Yes, I remember hearing my dad even talk about Dr. Carruthers like years and years and years ago. And when you invited me to pray and I entered the room, I was like, oh my gosh, there she is. Like so many
Larger
emotions
than
went
life.
through me.
Yeah.
Yes. And just, she just seems so down to earth.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can definitely just see her spirit. I was just
Yeah.
so honored to be there. And I'm saying that you invited me, but really you were like, are you ready? And I took it as such. I need to be ready to do this next week. I'm like, I mean, I don't know if I would ever be ready for this moment, but it seems like you're telling me to get ready, so I'm going to get ready.
Yes, indeed. Yep.
But it was just such an awesome opportunity to just hear um, the heart of everybody that was in that Zoom room and
Yeah.
where they would like to take things in terms of activism, but not just activism, just education for our communities as a
Yes.
whole. Because we talked about financial literacy, we talked about life insurance and what it means to have a retirement account and all of the things that go with it. So yeah, it's the Proctor conference is for real. Looking to really enhance and build up our community.
Yeah.
What is it about Angela Davis that captures you, though?
Oh my goodness. Her ability to do the work, and no matter what kinds of attacks she's under, the
Mm,
way she has not just survived but thrived and not allowed anything to make her waver. Her stance is firm,
mm,
and the multitude of ways in which she has helped Africans in diaspora to move through some of the worst of times. And she is still on the battlefield. And
mm,
so just watching her strength and what we could see, what we learned about, I always felt like she was family because we had this huge poster of her when I was growing up. And to me, she was family. We had no family in Chicago. When we left the East Coast, we left all of our family there, and we had no blood relatives in Chicago. And to read about her and listen to what was being said on the news and all of that, just she just motivated me from the time I was a little girl. And I'm just grateful to God to be in a space in which prayerfully the work I do will also be a remnant of her legacy as well. She's
yeah.
just a phenomenon, as a matter of fact, phenomenal woman.
It's funny too that you say Angela Davis because my mom was really big on Angela Davis as well. I wish you had the opportunity to know Yvonne E. Shipman. She was something
Yeah,
else.
yeah.
Yeah, but she said, I remember her saying to us before when she was growing up, she actually thought she was Angela Davis with afro and all. Yeah,
Yeah.
but such an icon, and just listening to her speak, in current events is just amazing.
Yes, yes.
And it's kind of crazy because between herself, Dr. King, and others, um, Reverend Al, all of them, it's almost as if they're repeating the same things that they said like 50, 60 years ago today.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so, from your perspective as an activist, what do we need to do, and how should we can we galvanize other PKs to get into the movement um, to make where we are better? What are your thoughts on it?
Well, the education, so many of us, even PKs, are not educated on who we are as Africans in the diaspora. So many of us do not want to deal with the fact that we are Africans. There are so many who don't know our history and do not understand the fight and the struggle. Those who believe we're in a postmodern society. I think even with all of the horrors we have faced over the course of this pandemic, the COVID-19, they were able, it was as if God shut us down so that our eyes could be open to what those of us who are activists have known all of our lives. And so education is key. And I'm not even talking to those who don't like school. I'm just talking about being educated on your own history and the history of Africans before we were enslaved in this country. Being able to learn about who you are gives you a certain sense of pride, such that you know that to remain silent on issues of injustice is a sin. To not speak up for those or be on the side of those who are marginalized goes against everything those in the Christian faith believe. And very few, a very small number of Africans in this country, whether they are churched or not, have any clue as to who we are, all that we have overcome as a result of being enslaved and brought to this country, not even knowing we came here even before Columbus. I will never forget reading, my father put this huge book in front of my sister and me when we were single digit ages. They came before Columbus, and we literally had to read to learn about who we are, even here in the United States, and that we were here before Columbus fell upon what is now called the United States, stealing the country from our Native Americans. And so, education, educating yourself, finding symposiums and lecture series, getting educated on who we are as Africans in this diaspora will give you a different sense of self and purpose. And finding that, coming to know who you are, you can't help but get activated and go to work on behalf of yourself and others. I mean, if we don't do it now, our children may never know. And so that is the first step, just really becoming active in your own education, self-knowledge, self-awareness, and actually owning the fact that you are African living in America. And so those things are, that is the most critical thing. And then now with all of social media, you can watch what's happening with reparations. Oh Lord, it's been years and years and years that our parents and even grandparents have waited for the day for the reparations to even be talked about. And so now here we are with Evanston now actually having made a move on the side of justice, what is right, and African descendants. So just really kind of taking for the younger generations social media, not just for fun, but actually using it to learn about who you are. And there's a lot out there now, and it's so easily easy to be read and understood. I think this this generation who lives in technology, always looks for the quickest and easiest ways to learn things and to find out about what's going on. And many organizations and people have, in order to, in this changing times, in order to continue to entice us to learn about who we are, there are quick things that are posts that are put up across social media. There are forums that you can connect to right there on social media, but just really educating yourself and becoming in tune as to who you are and who you are as an African situated inside of Christianity. It is our right
Mhm.
to fight for right. This is our birthright to
Yeah,
be active and in justice for all, not just those words, but to live and walk in justice for all. And without loving yourself and all of who you are, your history, knowing who you are, there is no motivation to do such. But so much has happened as a result of even the murder of George Floyd. And a whole new level of activism has taken place as a result across the country. And now you have all of these other communities and organizations, those who are leading organizations who don't look like us, who are now ready to approach the subject and ready to push. I just wish they had known all along that they needed to do what was right, especially when it comes to us. But they are now doing it and really searching for African Americans who are diversity, equity, inclusion practitioners. But it starts with us and our really caring about who we are and where all this came from. This didn't just start happening, but this generation has experienced it. And so now let's go back and let's learn who we are so that we can continue to move forward and to really be invested in change, be invested in fighting on behalf of ourselves and one another.
absolutely. Amen and amen. And I feel like we can say the benediction right there. Yes, indeed. Um, so I was in a meeting with the Transformative Justice Coalition on Wednesday evening,
Hmm.
um, to really talk about and get people organized for the John Lewis Day of Action that's going to take place on May 8th. And Robin Shine Maddox happened to be on there to introduce Senator Hughes.
My sister.
Yes. Yes, and you know how she is. She was so excited to talk about the things that Philadelphia had done in terms of voting in the votercades that happened for the 2020 election. And she happened to mention that she was a PK. And she was like, and I know my sister Siobhan Shipman Cook is on here. She's a PK. We are PK activists. And then you saw like all of these comments pop up in the Zoom that were PKs and were activists. And that was so encouraging to me because I have always said with the PKs Talk Back, like I've said it a couple of times in our board meetings, that we're not a political organization.
Hmm.
We don't
Hmm.
want to become a political organization, but we
Hmm.
definitely need to be concerned citizens and we need to be responsible citizens. And I think we should speak up for the right things. Um,
Hmm.
so I definitely am of the position that we need to get involved wherever we are, whoever we are, whatever race, like we have the responsibility, to your point, to stand up for those who are disenfranchised, to
Yeah.
stand up for ourselves, to stand up for right, to stand up for justice.
Hmm.
Um, But yeah, I would love, and I wish I was in a position to say, hey, all of you PKs, send me your email address because I want to connect with you. I think
Yeah,
that would be an
absolutely.
awesome thing to do.
Absolutely. Yeah, we have to find a way. So maybe we need to think about ways in which we can do a campaign to find PKs who are activists, who are active in the work, and those who are interested and want to know how to become active
Mhm.
in this work. It is because there's a lot more than just marching. There's a whole lot that happens in the background, in the organizing, even. And even in this virtual space, we have really been grinding with this work of advocacy and activism. And there are so many things and so many who are needed to get the word out and to take a stand and to make their presence known. We are greater in numbers, even during a time of isolation. We are still much greater in numbers. And so, yeah, we need to think about a campaign.
Yeah,
Matter of
absolutely.
fact, anybody who sees this today, please hit either one of us up. I am Jerry at jerrywright.com, Jeri, one R, at jerrywright.com. And you all know how to reach the PK herself, Siobhan Shipman Cook.
Yes, you can definitely hit us up. You can message us on Instagram or Facebook. And then our Gmail account is the pktb@gmail.com. We love to hear from you. Absolutely. Um, what kind of things have you been working on in addition to the prayer in terms of fighting for social justice?
So we are active. Oh, so many different things. One, I think we have made known across the social media through the prayer demic, especially, is a coalition we have formed to fight for justice in Mississippi and the Delta.
Mm,
That is some major work that really has not yet been brought to the forefront in this country that is desperately needed. Our people are suffering in Mississippi and the Delta, and yet they are thriving each day. And so some have been birthed into most, because those pipes haven't been changed in over 100 years. And so many have been birthed into this injustice through which they live and thrive each and every day without the nation's attention. And so we are working with several of the pastors in Mississippi and the Delta, and you will see more about that as soon as they are ready, because for years and years and years, they have been dealing with this fight. Additionally, we are actively working with the Advancement Project and the rights of Georgians, because I think you know what's happening in Georgia with the bill that became law,
mhm,
and the voter suppression, the modern day lynching
mhm.
of African Americans, especially, and the Latinx community, as a result of this law that just screams voter suppression all over the place. And so those are two things that I have been actively working even through this time of mini vacation and respite. We have been working diligently um, to galvanize voices, especially in Georgia. And I'm just very, very prayerful that all of the efforts will bring about change. I'm still literally in shock over this bill that suppresses the voice and vote of the African American community. And it's just unbelievable to me that we are living through this all over again. So, yeah.
I said you can say it what you want, so.
I've
Written all over
also,
your face and tone.
ooh, yeah, let me shift. I have also been working with my sister who I grew up, we grew up calling each other Siamese twins connected at the heart. Um, and I mentioned it just a few minutes ago as it pertains to protecting the legacy and the intellectual property of our father, who was pastor. And I believe that so many of us don't even know what we don't know as it relates to our parent, who is the preacher, the pastor, and their intellectual property. So many pastors and preachers don't know that they need to be covered and have memorandums of understanding in place with respect to everything that comes from their lips. That is their intellectual property. We don't want to see another pastor's family be locked out and unable to get a hold of their mother or their father's sermons and intellectual property, because so few pastors and preachers know that they need to have legal documents in place and put the church on alert that what happens under this pastorate, what comes out of my mouth belongs to me and not you. And a grave injustice is done to PKs and to spouses, to the family, even the generations yet to be born, when the church does that and takes control of the pastor's intellectual property. It is just a major injustice. But there are so many people who have been asking for, particularly my dad's work. And I have been intentional, especially since 2016, about not releasing it, any more of it, until we have certain things in place. After living through all that we have lived through in this unjust world, it just makes no sense to release it again. Those who are looking for it and who want it, I believe they will still want it when everything is in place. And so that is one of the things that we have begun to work on, just memorializing my father's works. And it dawned on me today, earlier, before you and I even had a conversation today, that this is information that PKs need ASAP. If nobody else can get through to our parent, we can, especially when we say, look, do you want your legacy to live on, or do you just want the church to, do you want your family to know about you for generations to come, the truth of who you are and your work and all of that? Or do you want people to just be willy-nilly putting it all out there themselves, or, twisting it, shifting a story, as we have seen happen in our lifetime? And so now it is time to take it back. It is time to move forward and to get my father's book completed. And so that's what, in this downtime, those are some of the things that I have been working on also. Getting myself and my application completed for this doctoral program, as well as finishing up books 2 and 3 in this Preacher's Daughter series.
Nice. It
Yeah.
doesn't sound like downtime, though.
I know. I know. I just shout on the fact that I have been able for now a full week to, well, actually, tomorrow will make the full week, but being able to sleep past 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 6 a.m., I have, I was really grateful to be able to catch up on my rest, much needed rest.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
You need that rest. All
Yeah.
right. I think we probably covered a myriad of topics. I think we covered all of the stuff that I said. I think we did. We were going to talk about. Um, I do want to encourage people to do a couple of things. Number one, if you're interested in the PKs Talk Back at any level, check us out online. We're at the pkstalkback.com. You can also check us out on Facebook. Click the like um, and follow there. We are on a campaign right now to reach 1,000 likes. And periodically, we're sending out gift cards for people who like us on Facebook or Instagram. So make sure you're doing that and you're spreading the word. We really want to do ministry for pastors' kids. We really believe that this is something that is necessary. Um, and many of you who followed us or listened to our conversations before know that I always say, I really believe that pastors' kids are the forgotten ministry. They celebrate pastor sometimes, they celebrate the first lady sometimes, but there is no ministry for pastors' children. And we really want to be a support and we want to really boost that support and give you conversations that might be helpful, like these tonight. Um, it was important to me because of all of the things that are happening in our world today. In 2021, we are still seeing our kids and our men shot in the street without care. There are no repercussions. We are seeing in 2021 that there are what 381 bills or something like that across the nation. 47 states are pushing voter suppression laws and they keep stripping our voters act, right? So it just doesn't make any sense. So it is my opinion, and because I'm speaking for the organization tonight, I'm pressing forward that we need to have a voice around it. We can't sit back and say somebody else is going to do it. We need to get involved in these organizations like the Proctor Conference, like Transformative Justice, like the NAACP, like the Urban League. We need to lend our voices to all of those organizations so that we don't go backwards. God forbid we go back to 1861.
My God.
Um, did you see, um, and I'm going to close out on this, but did you see Amend on Netflix? It was hosted by Will Smith.
Not yet.
Oh my gosh, it freaked me out. And it's not that I hadn't heard this stuff before because obviously I paid attention in school, and my dad is a serious history buff. And like you, he had us read They Came Before Columbus as well. So when you said that, I was like, oh my God,
Yes.
we're a parallel household.
Woo. Yes.
I was immediately perked up by that book. Yes, when you mentioned it. But I was kind of taken aback by it again, by that docu-series that Will Smith hosted on Netflix, because a lot of the rhetoric that we're hearing right now in 2021 was stuff that was said hundreds and hundreds of years ago, like back in
Mm-hmm.
1861. I,
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, oh my God. So, your point around education and we knowing not only our own history before we got here to America, but know American history too, not the revisionist history, like
That's
know it
right.
for real, for real.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there are a couple of documentaries on Netflix that would help out with that. 13th, I definitely recommend. Yes, it will
Yes.
make you want to fight, but
Yes.
I recommend 13th. I definitely
Mhm.
recommend Amend, which is an awesome series that was done. And then there's one other one that was out there too. I can't remember the name of it right now, but at least check out those two. But I really believe that it behooves us to get involved, lend our voices, educate our children, shoot, educate adults, because a lot of adults don't even realize where we are. And it doesn't matter your race, right? So we're an organization that will support every denomination, every race,
Mhm.
every age.
Mhm.
Um, and all of us are responsible
Mhm.
for moving our country forward. But anyway, having said all of that, check us out, like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, definitely follow us, subscribe to us on YouTube, because we're going to continue discussions like these on our YouTube channel. We will not always stream to Facebook. So make sure you are subscribing to our YouTube channel. Um, Please, please, please do that. We don't have enough subscribers yet, but I am banking on you to increase that number tonight. Right? Jerry, any last words you want to share?
I think you covered it all. I do want to thank you for time with you, and I want to thank God for your healing from the way in which your body responded to the second vaccination. We thank God for your strength this day, knowing yesterday you still weren't quite where you are today. And I praise God for your work. So many PKs need to be in community with one another. And the work you are doing, I am so behind you and aside you, moving to make it happen. So many need to know you and this organization. And I am grateful to announce that I am now a board member for
Yay!
PKs Talk Back. Yay, 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 yay. So I am always available to you no matter where I am, as long as I can do something to look halfway presentable, even though I am all the way not ready for the camera right now. But thank you so much. I love you and I love the work you are doing. And congratulations on your latest personal, professional accomplishments. And I just thank God for you being the beacon of light that we all need.
Oh, I appreciate that so much. Yes, I wanted to mention that earlier, that you are our newest,
Oh,
latest, and greatest board member for the PKs Talk Back. And I'm just excited about how God is going to continue to move us forward. I really believe that there are going to be some major strides made in 2021, especially going into 2022. And the devil tried to keep us blocked and, stuck, but we are not going to be defeated. This ministry is necessary. And I think one of
absolutely.
our earliest conversations, we talked about how the enemy would try to block um, by any means necessary. But that just
Hmm.
means that we have to keep pushing, because there are
Hmm.
definitely people who
Yeah,
can benefit and need the ministry. And so we are here for it. We are here for it. Thank you to all of you who have tuned in to this conversation. I hope it was a blessing to you. Please feel free to share it, share it, share it with other pastors' kids, and even people who are just curious. Because in our last conversation, we did have people who were not PKs tune in and ask questions. We're here for that too, because I
yeah.
believe more church people who understand what we go through, the better. So definitely share it, like our Facebook page, follow us on Instagram, make sure you subscribe to YouTube, and we will be right back here next month with another guest. I am super excited about this particular guest. Reverend Katina Christmas Robertson is going to be on with us. So make sure you tune in to that. God bless you guys. We love you. Love you, Jerry, so much. I
I love
appreciate you,
you.
my sister. And I look forward to talking to you again soon.
Absolutely.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. Love you.